Dear guests, today's event will start in 5 minutes and it will be live on AFC website. You are now invited to take your seats in the event hall. Thank you. Dear guests, today's event will start in 1 minute and we will be live on AFC website. Please turn your mobile phones on silent mode and more importantly, kindly stay seated throughout the whole event. The doors to the event will now be closed. Once again, a very good afternoon to all and welcome to AFC House. the home of Asian football. My name is Deborah Pereira, and I will be your MC for today. Soon we will witness the AFC Under-19 Championship 2018 qualifiers draw. And before we begin, I would like to once again welcome representatives from participating member associations, distinguished guests, AFC administration, and members of the media. We will have a total of 43 teams participating in the qualifiers to be played in October. Before we proceed with separating teams into different groups for the qualifiers, let's have a look at some highlights from the previous competition. Another thrilling competition played last year, and it was in Bahrain. Ladies and gentlemen, during the draw, the teams will be divided into 10 groups. The group winners and 5 best second-place teams among all the groups will advance to the final to be played in October next year. In order to have a full explanation on how it all works, let's have a look at this video on the qualification process.
The following member associations will participate in the AFC Under-19 Championship 2018 qualifiers. The competition will consist of a qualifying and a final stage. Based on the total number of teams in entry, the following member associations shall participate in the qualifiers competition, divided into 2 zones of West and East. Competition format. The competition will consist of qualifying and final stages as follows. Seeding for AFC Under-19 Championship 2018 qualifiers draw. According to the decision by the AFC Competitions Committee, seeding for the draw shall be based on the rankings of AFC Under-19 Championship Bahrain 2016. New entry: Cambodia, Indonesia, Mongolia. Zoning of participating teams and mode of competition. West Zone by seeding. East Zone by seeding. Based on the total number of teams from the West Zone, there shall be 3 groups of 4 teams and 2 groups of 5 teams in the West Zone, total 5 groups. Based on the total number of teams from the East Zone, 4 groups of 4 teams and 1 group of 5 teams in the East Zone, total 5 groups. 10 group winners and 5 best second-place teams among all groups shall qualify to the final competition, total 15 teams. Host of the final competition shall receive an automatic qualification to the final round of the competition. In case the host of final competition finishes top of their group in the qualifiers or finishes among the 5 best second-place teams in overall ranking, the next 6th second-place team in the ranking among all groups will also qualify to the final competition. The member associations that have expressed their interest to host the qualifiers will be drawn into separate groups. Groups and match dates. The following match sequence applies for groups with 4 teams. The number designates the position drawn in each group. The following match sequence applies for groups with 5 teams. The number designates the position drawn in each group. The AFC Under-19 Championship 2018 qualifiers shall be played according to the AFC Calendar of Competitions 2017 on the 31st of October to the 8th of November 2017. The groups with 4 teams that require 3 match days will have the following match days: 4th, 6th, and 8th of November 2017. The groups with 5 teams that require 5 match days will have the following match days: 31st October, 2nd, 4th, 6th, and 8th November 2017. All matches shall conclude on the same day of the 8th of November 2017, regardless the number of teams in the group, in order to apply fair play in calculation of the best second-place teams among all 10 groups.
Now that we are all clear on the qualification process, I would like to invite on stage the head of National Team Competitions Division, Avazbek Berdikulov, to conduct the draw.
Thank you, Deborah. Good afternoon again, and I'm really delighted to welcome you to the new edition of AFC Youth Championships, which kicked off with Under-16 Championship 2018 qualifiers draw a while ago. Now we'll be doing the same process and doing draw for yet another youth competition, which is AFC Under-19 Championship 2018 qualifiers, which will celebrate its anniversary 40th edition next year when we play the final competition. So as explained, we'll do draw for 2 zones separately, starting with West Zone and followed by East Zone. So in order to understand how all this procedure works, let's have a look at the video to see the procedure for West Zone.
Draw mechanisms, West Zone. There will be 5 seeding pots according to the rankings. The draw will separate 22 teams into 5 groups. The draw will commence in the following sequence: Pot 5, Pot 4, Pot 3, Pot 2, Pot 1. Pot 5. First team to be drawn will be positioned as A5. Second team to be drawn will be positioned as B5. Pot 4. First to 5th ball drawn will be positioned as A4, B4, C4, D4, and E4 accordingly. Pot 3. First to 5th ball drawn will be positioned as A3, B3, C3, D3, and E3 accordingly. Pot 2. First to 5th ball drawn will be positioned as A2, B2, C2, D2, and E2. In order to apply separation of hosts into different groups, a host of qualifiers from this pot, Tajikistan or Qatar, shall not be drawn into the same groups as the other hosts of qualifiers drawn earlier, Kyrgyz Republic. If a host of qualifiers, Tajikistan or Qatar, is drawn into the same group as Kyrgyz Republic, the host of qualifiers, Tajikistan or Qatar, will be moved to the next group with no host, and the following drawn team shall take position in the group which the host of qualifiers, Tajikistan or Qatar, was originally drawn to. Pot 1. First to 5th ball drawn will be positioned as A1, B1, C1, D1, and E1. In order to apply separation of hosts into different groups, hosts of qualifiers from this pot, Saudi Arabia or Islamic Republic of Iran, shall not be drawn into the same groups as the other hosts of qualifiers drawn earlier, Tajikistan, Qatar, or Kyrgyz Republic. That will conclude the draw, West Zone.
So, first of all, I would like to thank the hosts of the qualifiers for this West Zone. We have hosts for all 5 groups, and we will be splitting them into different groups during the draw today. And we will start with pot 5, which has Kyrgyz Republic, one of the hosts, and Maldives. So they will be split into group A and B accordingly. The first team drawn will go to group A. The second team drawn will go to group B, position 5. We start today's draw with Kyrgyz Republic, host of the qualifiers. Last time in the final competition in 2006, matches will be played in Bishkek, Kyrgyz Republic. The second team should be Maldives, and here is the confirmation. Going to group B, position 5, Maldives. Never in the final competition, going to group B, Maldives. Pot 4 teams will occupy position 4 in each groups, and we will put them in the order they are drawn to, starting from A and ending up with group E. Group A, position 4, we have Nepal. Last time in the final competition in 2004 here in Malaysia. So they will be trying second appearance from the group B, from the group A. Going to group B, joining Maldives, we have Sri Lanka. Last time in the final back in 1986, Sri Lanka, group B, position 4. Going to group C, position 4, we have Afghanistan. Last time in the final in 1978. Since then, they didn't qualify to the final competition of AFC Under-19 Championship. We have 2 teams left. They will go to group D and E, positions 4. Going to group D, we have India. Last time in the final in 2006 when they hosted. Since then, no participation in the final competition. India, group D. The last team from this pot should be Syria. And here is the confirmation. Syria, champion in 1994. They missed last 2 editions. They will be trying to come back for 2018 edition this October. Group E, Syria. We progress with the draw, and we have pot 3, 5 teams to be split into position 3 across 5 groups. First team going to group A. We have Oman. Missed last edition. They will try to come back for the competition played in Kyrgyz Republic, group A, position 3, Oman. Next team going to group B. Joining Sri Lanka and Maldives, we have Bangladesh. Last time in the final in 2002. Since then, they didn't qualify to the final competition. Bangladesh, group B, position 3. We continue with the draw. Let's find out who will join Afghanistan in group C. Lebanon, last time in the final competition in 2008. After 10 years, they will try to come back in this edition from group C, Lebanon. Joining India in group D, we have Turkmenistan. They never played in the final competition, so in case they make it, this will be the first time. Turkmenistan, group D. And last team from this pot, Jordan, and here is the confirmation. We have Jordan. Missed last 2 editions of the final competitions. Jordan back in the qualifiers in group E. We continue to progress with the draw, and we have now pot 2 teams ranked 6 to 10. We have Tajikistan here, host of the qualifiers. We have United Arab Emirates. We have Qatar, host of the qualifiers, Yemen, and Palestine. So Tajikistan and Qatar cannot be drawn in the same group with Kyrgyz Republic to apply host separation. Okay. The first team going to Group A, we have Tajikistan, host of the qualifiers, but they will go to Group B to apply host separation. Tajikistan, quarterfinal in the last edition, they lost to eventual champion Japan. Tajikistan, Group B. Okay. Next team going from the pot is Qatar, winner in 2014, host of the qualifiers. They will go to Group C, joining Lebanon and Afghanistan. Qatar, champion in 2014. Okay. The next three teams will occupy empty positions 2 in groups, and this country will go to Group A. United Arab Emirates, winner in 2008, going to Group A, traveling to Kyrgyz Republic for the qualifiers in October. United Arab Emirates. Last two teams from the pot, now going to Group D, joining Turkmenistan and India. We have Yemen. They are looking for third consecutive qualification. Yemen going to Group D. The last team from this pot, Palestine, they will occupy in all Arab group together with Jordan and Syria. Here is confirmation. Palestine, never in the final competition. They will go to Group E, Palestine. Okay, it's getting interesting. Now, pot 1, 5 top teams in this zone. Saudi Arabia, host of the qualifiers. Iran, host of the qualifiers. Iraq, Bahrain, and Uzbekistan. Again, Saudi Arabia and Iran can be drawn only to groups D and E. The first team from the pot 1, we have Saudi Arabia going to Group D, occupying position 1, host of the qualifiers, 2 times champion of the competition, Saudi Arabia, Group D. The next team, in case it's Iran, it will go straight to E, otherwise going to Group A. We have Bahrain, host of the previous championship, going to Group A, traveling to Kyrgyz Republic, Bahrain, Group A, position 1. Last 3 balls. We have Islamic Republic of Iran, host of the qualifiers. They will go straight to Group E, the only group with no host in this zone. Iran, semi-finalists last time, 4 times champion and host of the Group E. Iraq and Uzbekistan left, so we have Tajikistan and Qatar, hosts of the groups. This team traveling to Tajikistan in Group B, we have Uzbekistan. Runner-up in 2008, traveling to neighbors Tajikistan, Group B, Uzbekistan. The last team, Iraq, shall occupy Group C, and here is the confirmation. Iraq, 5 times champion of the competition, runner-up in 2012, going to Group C, traveling to Qatar, Iraq. This concludes the draw for West Zone, and while we change the pots, let's have a look at the video how it works for East Zone draw mechanism.
Draw mechanisms, East Zone. There will be 5 seeding pots according to the rankings. The draw will separate 21 teams into 5 groups. The draw will commence in the following sequence: Pot 5, Pot 4, Pot 3, Pot 2, Pot 1. Pot 5. First team to be drawn will be positioned as F5. The remaining 2 balls that are not drawn will be moved to Pot 4. Pot 4. First to fifth ball drawn will be positioned as F4, G4, H4, I4 and J4 accordingly. In order to apply separation of hosts into different groups, if either of Cambodia or Mongolia is drawn in position F5 and the other host is also drawn to group F, hosts of qualifiers from this pot shall not be drawn into the same groups as the other hosts of qualifiers drawn earlier. Pot 3. First to fifth ball drawn will be positioned as F3, G3, H3, I3 and J3 accordingly. Pot 2. First to fifth ball drawn will be positioned as F2, G2, H2, I2 and J2 accordingly. Pot 1. First to fifth ball drawn will be positioned in F1, G1, H1, I1 and J1 accordingly. In order to apply separation of hosts into different groups, hosts of qualifiers from this pot, Korea Republic, shall not be drawn into the same groups as the other hosts of qualifiers drawn earlier, Cambodia or Mongolia. That will conclude the draw for the AFC Under-19 Championship 2018 qualifiers.
Okay, now it's all clear. Similar to West Zone, I would like to thank hosts of the qualifiers from East Zone, Mongolia, Cambodia and Korea Republic for offering their assistance. We'll start with pot 5. We have 3 balls in pot 5, but as you can see we have only one position, one group with 5 teams. But since all 3 teams are ranked equal, we will draw one team from pot 5 and 2 other remaining teams will move to pot 4 and will be drawn together with ranked teams of the competition. So the first team drawn will go to group F, other 2 balls will be moved to pot 4. Going to group F, position 5, we have Indonesia. Missed last edition due to suspension. They're back in the competition now. Indonesia, group F, position 5. Now I will move these 2 balls into pot 4 and every pot will have 5 balls which will be split across 5 groups during the draw. The first team drawn will go to group F, position 4, followed by G, H, I and J during the draw. So joining Indonesia in group F, we have Brunei Darussalam. Last time in the final competition in 1975, Brunei joining Indonesia in group F. We continue with the draw. Group G, position 4, we have Cambodia, host of the qualifiers to be played in Phnom Penh. Cambodia going group G, position 4. Taking position 4 in group H, we have Macau, never in the final competition, going to group H, position 4, Macau. 2 teams left, either Mongolia or Northern Mariana Island, they will go to group I. Mongolia, host of the qualifiers for this competition, they will take group I, position 4, Mongolia. And here is the confirmation that we have Northern Mariana Islands in this pot. Never in the final competition, Northern Mariana Islands try first time to qualify from group J. We progress with the draw, now pot 3. 5 teams split into 5 groups, straightforward. There is no any condition to be applied in this pot. So going to group F, joining Brunei and Indonesia, we have Timor-Leste, never in the final competition. Another team will try to make their debut in the final in case they are successful. Timor-Leste, group F, position 3. Going to Group G, position 3, we have Philippines, not in the final competition since 1975. Philippines, once very strong youth team, they will try to come back from the group played in Cambodia. Philippines. Going to Group H, joining Macau, we have Chinese Taipei. Last time in the final in 70s, Chinese Taipei joining Macau in Group H. Now either Singapore or Hong Kong will travel to Mongolia. We have Singapore traveling to Mongolia in Group I, taking position 3. The last team should be Hong Kong, and here is the confirmation. Hong Kong, third place in 60s in 1963, not in the final competition since 77. Hong Kong going to Group J, position 3. We passed the equator of the draw for East Zone, and we are now in pot 2. We have 5 teams: Thailand, DPR Korea, Myanmar, Malaysia, and Laos. And it's straightforward draw. We'll put them into 5 groups according to the order they are drawn. Going to Group F, going to Group F, where we don't have host yet, Malaysia. Last time in the final competition in 2006, 3 times second place in 60s, Malaysia. Group F, position 2. This team will travel to Cambodia in Group G. Myanmar, semi-finalists in 2014 when they hosted the competition final stage, but they missed last edition. Myanmar, Group G. Continuing with the draw, joining Chinese Taipei and Macau, we have Laos. Last time in the final competition in 2004 here in Malaysia. Laos going to Group H. Okay, we have 2 teams left. Host Mongolia will have another team traveling to their country. We have Thailand. They didn't miss the final competition since 1992. They participated in all final competitions. They are 2 times champion. Thailand going to Group I, position 2. The last team from this spot should be DPR Korea. And here we have confirmation. Democratic People's Republic of Korea, 3 times champion. Last time champion in 2010, going to Group J, position 2. Final pot, top pot, teams ranked 1 to 5 in East Zone. We have 1 host, Korea Republic, and they will not be drawn to Group G or Group I. So in case they are drawn in that order, they will be moved to the next group without host. Korea Republic, 12 times champion,